This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Today we're going to be replacing a defective garbage disposal unit, and this one was leaking here at the bottom, so water was just streaming out of here. That's because the inner chamber has rusted. It's lasted probably over 20 years, but finally they just start rusting, so we're going to put a new unit in. One thing about these that's interesting is they have a little reset button you can press at the bottom. We'll get into here in a little more detail, but first thing, to replace it, we're going to unplug it, and we're going to be just loosening this screw to get this hose off from the dishwasher, and then a couple of screws here so we can remove this drain part. And this upper part's really easy to do, so this won't take too long. So the tools we're going to need will be some wire strippers, because we're going to put a new power cord in. We're going to use a standard head screwdriver to punch out a little plastic piece, and we'll be using a little hammer to help us. We'll have a Phillips head screwdriver, and then we'll have this 3/8 inch. We'll use a standard head dishwasher one off. Some of these, the hose that you would see would be a larger black hose that's coming to the air gap. In this instance, this dishwasher is plumbed straight into the garbage disposer. So kind of loosen that up, wiggle it off. You can get a little water coming out, and then we're going to take off a couple of screws. So we have a 3/8. Speed it up a little bit. That one out. We'll do the same for the other side. I've been on here for a long time. Okay, so I was just pushing this pipe a little further back into this fitting. So I got that loose. There we go. Now we can remove this one. We use a special little wrench for that that comes with the dishwasher. So what comes with the kit, to get a new top piece, you get a new side pipe if you need it, depending on your application. Here's the cool little wrench that comes with it, and got a seal and a brace and a couple of new screws. And here's the disposer. This one's a bit of a step up. It's got a little bit more power. This is a half horse. Before we install it though, there's a little plastic plug inside here that we got to get rid of. Sometimes when people hook up dishwashers, they don't want to have a garbage disposer. They don't want to have a dishwasher drain pipe, so they leave this little plastic plug in. But it's important to pop it out if you're going to be using a dishwasher. So you just lay it on its side and just use a standard head screwdriver. Just tap it in with a hammer. There we go. And that thing will break off. You hit it again on the side. There we go. You hear that come loose. So now we have a nice clear shot. I just got to get that little plastic tab out of there, so I'll turn this upside down. Shake this around, get that thing out. There we go. So here's the plastic tab that we knocked out. And again, that's real important. I've come to a lot of homes to fix dishwashers that weren't draining because they forgot to pop this thing out. So that's some of the preparation we have to do. One thing I want to show you is that if you ever have a garbage disposer that is not turning, but it's humming, you can put this tool inside and you can turn it back and forth, and what it will do is it will get the gear moving inside that's jammed. Whatever's jamming it will get unjammed, And if the motor gets overheated, this little red button will pop out, and then when you try to use it, you won't hear anything. You won't even hear a hum. But if you press that button back in, it'll allow power to go back to the motor, and you'll be set to go. So make sure when you install this, you save this little wrench. It's also used for the installation. And in our case, we're going to use it to remove the old one. One thing we have to get off the old one is the power cord, because these don't come with a new power cord usually. Some people have these hardwired in. They don't have it plugged in. So the manufacturer usually does not give you a power cord. So I'm just going to support the weight of this. I'm going to put this little... Alright, now I'm going to move it away from me to the left. Lefty-loosey. You got to support the bottom, because once it lets go, it's going to release this from this, and then the disposer will no longer be supported. Going left, loosens up. There we go. And now the whole thing will come down, and it's going to be full of a lot of crud. So once we get it down, it's good to empty it, and then we got to turn it upside down so we can get to the power cord. Okay, I'm going to turn the disposer upside down. Any water come out of there. What I'm after now is I want to take out the standard head screw, loosen this up, and get this power cord out of here. Take off this little panel, and this is where the electrical connections are. Remember, it's important you've unplugged this first, of course. There we go. And I want to loosen up these two so that I can get this power cord out of here. I'm going to take out this green electrical ground. I'm going to turn lefty-loosey, loosen that up, because that's connected to the power cord. That's the ground connection. That's just standard head screwdriver. And some of these when you buy them will have a power cord, but most of them don't. So you have to do this little procedure. Now we got a wire nut connection for power wires. Here's the other one. That off. So we're just trying to get this power cord out so we can reuse it. That off. Just separate these wires. Separate these wires. Okay, there's our power cord. Let's spin this thing off. There we go. Here comes the power cord. Okay. Turn this upside down. You can see pretty similar arrangement. This one's got a Phillips head screw. Spin that off. Take our new power cord. There we go. Into this hole. Go. I'm missing this little piece. I'm sorry. Let's just take a sec. Okay, so we go into this hole. Lift these wires back up into this little access port, and this guy is going to, this cord stop's going to screw into this thing. Use your standard head screwdriver to just get that where you want it, and then to get it tightened up. There we go. Okay, then this disposer has two power cords, or two power wires, a neutral and a hot. Nice looking conductors, wire looks great. Alright, I'm going to hook up this wire with our wire nut, get that on there. Righty-tighty. Pushing those two wires in, and then keep turning until you get it really tight. Don't want that to come undone. Alright, then we put on neutral. It'd be good. It's unlikely that they'd ever come undone, but it's good to have a little electrical tape in your kit, and it doesn't hurt to have those wire nuts kind of taped into position so they're less likely to migrate. And if this did come off, then that tape's gonna keep the wire from touching the metal case. This one's going to go in right here on the inside. Alright, this is just telling you don't forget to remove that little plug if you're going to use a dishwasher arrangement. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we're all set. We're going to push this up into position and tighten it. So the way I like to do that is just get my hand underneath it. I put my elbow down as a brace and then push this up into position. Looks good. Here we go. So I got this one ready to grab here. I'm going to turn it to my right, righty-tighty, and that's starting to hold the whole disposer up. I'll use my wrench to get it even tighter. So the wrench, pretty cool, goes in here, and you pull it to your right, and that's going to get it really tight. It's going to lock it in. Pretty slick with it. Pretty slick design. So these are all pretty similar how they work. Okay, so then we got the rubber seal here. We're going to put this in and then tighten those screws. And we're going to use the new screws that came with it. Almost done. Go there. And once again, we're using this old brace, but they're the same, and this one's not beat up. So. Okay, we're going to get that just partially tight on that side, then to the other side. Tight. This side. That's tight. There we go. All right, very good. Now we'll put on our dishwasher drain connection. Tighten the hose clamp. And that should do it. Plug it in, take it for a test drive. I'm going to make sure the power is good, make sure it's not leaking. So flick the switch, see if we get a result. Okay, sounds good. Let's do a leak test. Running water here at the top, seeing if there's anything leaking. Might get a leak here. Could get a leak there, could get a leak there. You won't get a leak here because it's brand new. When the disposers are getting older, again, they rust out and they start getting a leak right at the bottom. That's what happened to this other one. So it looks good on the leak test. Run the motor again. Sounds great. All right, thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe to the channel when you get a chance. Thank you.